Hey YouTube. So if you watch my channel, looks like I forgot to shut my garage door last night. Oh. Anyway, if you watch my channel, you'll know that yesterday was pouring and pouring rain. Today, there's 2 inches of snow. I don't know what this afternoon will be. Hey guys, so you get to see a little bit of our winter wonderland. Yesterday it was like a rainforest. Today it's I'm guessing like Alaska, although Alaska's weather's been just as goofy. It is beautiful though. Well guys, I didn't get a deer,
I got
but
5.
they're still all here,
Got 5.
as you can see. Those are all doe.
It's okay. He's still here.
Hey YouTube, I didn't get a chance to use the plasma cutter since the other day when I made that video when I was finishing up. But there's a couple things here that I noticed that I want you to look at. You can see that this grip here is burning or getting a lot of marks on it, but this woven piece of copper between the two jaws, this is not going to last. It's already starting to melt apart. So even though the grip is okay, I mean there's really nothing wrong with it. There's nothing really holding the wire there except for this very end here. So I was down at Tractor Supply picking up some bird feed or chicken feed, and I bought this one, which I'm not saying that, you know, this isn't adequate. It probably was adequate, but except for this thing isn't too good. So I picked this one up. It's made by Hobart, but nonetheless, it's also made in China. But hopefully by someone's standards that, you know, whatever. Anyway, I decided that I'm going to use this in lieu of this one, okay? Like I say, you could use this, but I don't think it's going to work out for me too well. So I'm going to change over and use this one. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is this jaw here, like when you're working with body work, you know, it's bad enough that you're trying to keep auto body work nice and straight and smooth and all. Something like this that, you know, grabs with that jaw that's on there, all that's going to do is scratch paint and things. But this one here, what I like about this is that it has these rounded things here. Okay, chances of that actually scratching the paint on metal is a lot slimmer chance that that'll happen. Now even these could be a little bit better. Like I think I might grind this corner off here so that I have this nice rounded piece to grab a hold of the work. But nonetheless, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this over. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do here then is this copper piece came with the new clamp. Okay, let's see what you're seeing here. Yeah, this copper piece came with the new clamp. But the copper piece that came on the original ground wire to the plasma cutter is good. So I'm not going to take it off. What I'm going to do though is, this piece was a solid piece here for a heavier cable. So I cut a slit in it so I'll be able to crimp this. And the nice thing about this is I can actually put this right back on here. The size of that nut actually fits. So I can put, or not the size of the nut, but the size of this opening in this ground wire fits the bolt from the new one. So I'm just going to bring this through here, and I'm going to fasten that. And this way here it'll be not only the bolt holding it, but also this crimp will be holding the wire. Because I do a lot of tugging on this stuff, you know, sometimes you're caught on something, and I just felt like having this one with only one point of actual contact wasn't going to really hang in there for me. And like I said, I don't like the tip on these because they're going to scratch things that I may not want to scratch, especially when I'm cutting some kind of car body part. So I'm just gonna bolt this up here. Alright, that's good. I'm gonna crimp this around here with a pair of crimping pliers so that it hangs onto this really well. And I shouldn't have any trouble with this. And I don't like these points here sticking out. I want the rounded part to hit the metal. So I'm gonna take and grind these off while I'm at it. Okay guys, so that's a piece of sheet metal there that I would use for, you know, body work. It's a little heavy, that stuff. I think probably 18 gauge there, but anyway, what I'm getting at is, if you look here, you can see that the rounded parts that are smooth on this clamp are gonna not put any marks on the metal, as opposed to the sharp edges that were on here. Same thing. Let me just pick this up for a second. See what I'm saying is this, when this grabbed the hole of that, it would leave scratch marks in there. And it might not mean a thing to you unless you hook up to a car that you're working on, you're making a patch somewhere. You know, I just don't want to put any scratches or anything in the metal that I have to contend with later. So this would scratch it, possibly dent it. Whereas this one has a bigger round surface where all that's going to do is hold on to it. And it gives me this nice finish. It's being a little bit particular, but that's what I want. So anyway, that's where we are with this. So like I say, the other one was adequate. I'm not complaining about the other one. All I'm saying is that this is going to be better for my particular use. Hey guys, because it's Christmas time and we've been running to the store pretty much, at least Sally has. She drugged me to the store today for a little Christmas outing, and I picked up that handle that I showed you for the ground wire. What I wanted to show you was something else here. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but I just wanted to show you. If you remember, this thing was cracked, and it is cracked all the way down through the middle here. I'm going to cut this thing up. I don't want this because it's just not, I'm not holding this thing. But I'm cutting the pieces out of the sides here because I use this stuff. Now, I don't know what exactly this is called. It looks like there's a PP in there. It might mean polypropylene. I don't know. High density polyethylene. I don't know. I'm sure some of you guys would know out there. But what I do know is that if you take this, and I cut a small strip off of it, and you take an electric gun like this, you can literally fix this plastic with itself. So what I do is I heat this up, and when it starts to melt, like that, I just put the piece of polypropylene or whatever it is on top of there, melt enough of it off to give me something to work with, and just move that around as if I was making a welding bead. Now I have fixed a whole bunch of stuff like this, especially on cars that have this type of plastic and you're trying to hold something together that you just don't want to have to buy another piece. But that's what I'm going to use this thing for. I'm literally, you can see how nice that is. I'm literally going to take this, cut it up in little, for all intents and purposes, little plastic welding rods. So, you know, that's what I do with this stuff. But this isn't worth it to me, so I'm going to get rid of this. But I do have the sides, and I'll cut them up into pieces as I need them. So I just take this stuff, throw it by my MIG welder here, and then whenever I need pieces like that, I just cut them up. And it's not the first time I've ever done that. I'll tell you what else works good too for fixing that plastic. See, these are another one. What works good for fixing that plastic is these. The boxes that the welding rods come in, you can actually, when you're done with the rods, you can actually cut that plastic and use it to fix plastic. Especially this stuff, whatever this black stuff is made out of. Now it says PP here, I don't know if that means anything. I don't see HDPE, which is normally what I see on stuff that fixes this. But I'm just showing you, you know, you can fix stuff, get a nice looking effect. I've done this, so I can't tell you how many car bumper car bumpers I have fixed using this stuff and then sanding it lightly and spraying it, and you'll never know that they were even broken. Just something I thought you might like to. Now when I said car bumpers, I didn't mean the steel bumper. I meant the, you know, the plastic covering that goes over most bumpers. Now it doesn't work on all kinds of plastic, but pretty many of them it does. Hey guys, just want to make a little comment thing here. I put a video up the other day, and I took a clip from a movie describing, you know, one of the actors had said something about Far Eastern people, which to me, the China, I may be wrong, I might not be right about that, but either way. But the thing is just so you know, I'm going to be taking that video down. The reason I'm going to take it down is not because of what the content actually says, because that's how I felt the day that I made that. But I'm taking it down because I don't want cursing in the videos if I can help it. And even though I myself didn't curse, the guy did on the, you know, on the clip that I made, I still don't want it there. So I'm going to be taking that down for that purpose. Now, another thing that I want to say though, and the reason that I got in front of the camera here was this. Somebody had made a slight comment inferring that, and I like the comment because they make me think and I enjoy that. But the comment was something to the effect of, I bought a cheap plasma cutter, I can expect cheap. I disagree with that, and I'm going to tell you why. When I sign a contract to build a house, whatever that amount is, whether it be $100,000 or $500,000, I have to build that house according to a set of fixed standards, okay? Now, it's true that if I give somebody a real good discount that maybe I can buy cheaper appliances. That must work, okay? Maybe I can get a good price on lumber that still has to hold the house up. I might even be able to get a good price on shingles. Now, I wouldn't buy something like Seconds, but I would definitely, you know, look for the best price. And what my gripe about the comment is this. When I was a kid, I'd go to the hardware store, and there was only one hardware store in the town where I lived. There was no Lowe's or any of those big box stores, Home Depot. They didn't exist. So when I would go into the hardware store and I'd buy a saw, say a circular saw, I expected that circular saw to cut wood, okay? No excuses. No, oh, you got to put a new plug on it first. No. If I bought a drill, no excuses. If I bought a 1/2-inch drill, I expected that drill to drill 1/2-inch holes, okay? And that's what it was years ago, and those things did do that. I remember one time I bought the worst thing I ever bought at a hardware store or at a, you know, store like that was a chainsaw. I bought a small, when Homelite started making plastic covered chainsaws, I bought a really small saw just for trimming, and you know, that was probably the worst thing I ever bought. I pulled it to start it, the rope came out, I fixed it, I pulled it to start it again, the nylon bushing came out, and that was the start sometime in the late 70s of how things were going to get, because that thing I believe was made in China. And I don't think Homelite's around anymore either, because once you put your name on something, you are the one who was answering for that. So anyway, getting to my point is this. When I sign a contract and say I have to build something, like say if I'm going to build you a 2-car garage, well, I can't sign a contract to build the 2-car garage, and then somewhere down the road I decide, well, I'm only going to put 1 garage door on it, and that's good enough for you. When you guys say that it's my fault because I bought something cheap, or anybody else, what you're doing is you're giving a free pass to a foreigner. How about giving a free pass to your brother? You're not doing that. You expect what we say we're going to do is what you want. And I'm all for that. I agree with you. You should get what you pay for. However, if somebody sells a plasma cutter for $280, I expect it to cut everything that they say it will cut. They didn't say in there anywhere, before you use the plasma cutter, please replace all the air lines. Or before you use the plasma cutter, please replace the plug. Or before you use whatever you buy, please replace this or please replace that. So, you know, I don't want to hear this, that it's my fault because I bought something inexpensive to use to do a job. Are there better products? I don't know. I don't know. I hear this Hypotherm, as far as plasma cutters go, is the top of the line. And maybe it is, but I don't need top of the line for the little bit of work I'm doing. I just need it to do what it says it will do. And I need it to do it for an extended period of time. Try to buy a drill from Drill Master at Harbor Freight and see how far you get with that. Or better yet, a Black & Decker grinder, I'm bringing it home now, a Black & Decker grinder from Walmart. Go buy one. See how many things you can cut with it, okay? This is the way things have evolved to this problem. But believe me, you young guys, please, I'm pleading with you young guys, because do not allow this and do not accept this, because if you do, things get worse. Okay? Go back to the store, demand your money back, get what you should get from it, and try not to always be fixing stuff. Now, whether that helps or not, I don't know for sure, because it seems like they make stuff so cheap that even if you take it back, it's like, well, it's okay, bring it back. We'll give you another one. It seems like they have so many of them and they're so cheap that, you know, it's unlimited quantities that you can keep picking up. But there are some manufacturers in this country that still make good stuff. And when you buy that stuff, I mean, it would be just like a car. If you buy a car, really, do you expect to put a new battery in the car within the first 2 weeks? Not to say that you haven't. Not to say that a car's been sitting around and the battery got bad in it. Or that a battery was bad from new. What I'm saying is, do you expect to have to do that? So yes, I was upset with that plasma cutter because I had to fix it to use it. If I was working with it for a year and I blew an airline, hey, I'm fine with that, okay? No problem, because I had been using it. I have a MIG welder in there that I bought from Lincoln. I don't know how old that thing is. It's got to be 20-some years old. I have only ever done two things to that. Changed the wire, the MIG wire, and the little nozzle tip. That's it. I did not have to put a new fan in it. I didn't have to put a new switch in it. I didn't have to put a new plug on it. None of that stuff. So when you're blaming me for buying something cheap, or even if you're not blaming, and believe me, I don't take this to heart. I just want to make the point. If you blame someone for buying something that's inexpensive, and it says on there, you know, this is a 1/2-inch drill, or this is a frying pan, you know, you expect to be able to fry food in it. If you buy a frying pan and you turn the heat up underneath it and the freaking pan melts before your eyes, well, that's not a frying pan, okay? So neither is any of the other stuff if it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Now, why did I fix that plasma cutter compared to not? Because I believe that the people at Jegs are trying to, like I said, fulfill the niche completely for restoring cars and stuff. And they're doing the best they can do at the best price they can. They are competing with other people, Eastwood or Eastman or whatever their name is, in different places. And, you know, I understand that competition. I was in business. I got it. But, you know, sometimes to blame the consumer for buying something at a good price is wrong. And not only that, but if you go and read articles about free trade brought this on, okay? Free trade, they claimed, was going to allow us to have, listen to the words, quality products at a lower price. Do you believe what I just said? I read an article last night that said free trade means quality products at a lower price. And then it went on to mention China and Mexico. Look, Mexico's stuff has been going uphill all the time. What I'm griping about is I want China's stuff to go up. If we have to buy it, if we're going to buy it, fine. I don't care about free trade. They got to eat just like we do. However, you know, if you take somebody out of the rice paddies and you tell them look, take this hose and stick it into that blue thing. And that's all they know, and they don't know how far it should go in, and they don't know that it shouldn't come back out when you pull on it, then their skilled labor is faulty. And they've got to do something about that. That's what I'm complaining about, okay? But the part about, you know, me buying something cheap, or anyone. You buy something, it says it's going to do it. Years ago, it did the job. I remember my mom bought my dad a Sunbeam. Now, Sunbeams are shavers, guys. A Sunbeam corded drill. I was a little boy when my mom bought that for him for Christmas. Okay? I just threw that drill away about, I don't know, 6 months ago, because my mom had given me my dad's stuff when he died, only because it was all steel and I got a couple shocks from it because it didn't have the ground wire. The point is that it was 50 years old, okay, or more, 60 years old, and it was still drilling holes. That's all that I wanted to say about that. Guys, I hope you're having a good one. My wife's been driving me crazy shopping. It's like, you know, a frenzy out there. I didn't even go into the store. I parked in the parking lot and was reading stuff. But have a good one, guys. We got some snow last night. I think you saw at the beginning of the video here. I'm hoping to get that on there anyway. So we will have a white Christmas so far, unless the temperature changes again. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching my channel. I really do appreciate it. I love the comments. I don't care whether they're derogatory or not. Stupid comments I just delete. You know, I mean, if they're so far-fetched, I don't even care if it's a good question or if it's a question of somebody not knowing. But when the comments are so far-fetched, like, oh, it took too long to make this video, give me a break, okay? Go watch another channel. That's how I feel. Have a good one, guys.